Good morning, GM everyone. We are just about to kick off the opening ceremony for the Constellation Hackathon. We'll give it just a couple more seconds. I'll let everybody get in here. And yeah, while we're waiting, I've already seen some of you in the chat saying where you're from. I always love to see that information. Where's everybody from? So GM, probably GA for afternoon. Good time of day to you. I'm excited for this hackathon to kick off. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Richard, one of the developer advocates here at Chainlink Labs, and the Constellation Hackathon is here. And it's pretty huge, but we'll get to that in a minute. When it comes to this hackathon, what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about the previous hackathons, take a look at how those went. We're going to have a Q&A with Kamal and Akursh. We're going to talk about this hackathon, prizes, probably something like nobody's interested in, right? Because you're just here to hack. We're not here for the prizes. We're here for the learning and the building and the community, and maybe the prizes a little bit. Talk about dates, rules, eligibility, how to get help if you need it, team formation, and then we'll hear some notes from our sponsors. So like I said, I'm Richard, one of the developer advocates here. You can find me on Twitter sometimes. And yeah, let's talk about the past hackathons. We had the Chainlink Spring Hackathon, and we had over 13,000 signups from 215 countries. Blows my mind every time I see numbers like that, like 215 countries, 13,000 signups. Man, I'm proud of you all for being here. 40% of the participants were new to blockchain, and we had $450,000 in prizes. Those are some pretty big numbers. If we take a look at hackathons Chainlink has put on over the years, over 60,000 signups, over 2 million in prizes has been awarded in these hackathons, and hundreds of devs have been recruited and are now working in Web3 from what they started in these hackathons. So I think that's pretty huge. We have success stories from various alumni. Various hackathon projects have gone on to actually form real businesses. You can see some of their success here. We just had Postment in the last hackathon, who is now one of the Chainlink Build members. And yeah, what you do here can lead to actual success. It's not just a project for a hackathon. So keep that in mind when you're hacking. And of course, numerous other participants have used this to kickstart their career in Web3. So this is your time to learn, to build those relationships, to build those skills. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Kamal, our Chief Product Officer, and Akursh, our new Head of Developer Relations, for a Q&A with them. So hey, Akursh and Kamal, how are y'all doing? I think we'll start with you, Akursh. First, welcome to the team officially. This is your first official hackathon. I think you'll find they're kind of big and crazy and awesome here. Previously, you were at Meta and Amazon, which are two powerhouses of transformative technology. And you've worked on building and scaling developer communities from things including Alexa, React, PyTorch. I'll be honest, you're kind of a big deal. We're super glad to have you, and glad to have you as part of this team. For this hackathon, what do you think that our developers should hear?
Well, thank you, Richard. That was a extremely warm introduction, and I guess hearing my achievements stacked like that is humbling in some ways. First, I just want to say, look, I couldn't be more excited to be here. I think this is an absolutely amazing technology set that we're working with. And I think that what we're doing with this hackathon is hugely transformational. My message to developers is actually quite simple. I was reflecting on some of my experiences with a lot of these projects that you mentioned, right? Projects like React or PyTorch or GraphQL or Oculus, right? And it struck me immediately that none of these projects ever started very big. So when it came to where these projects came from, they all started from that same small place, place based on a vision for a better future, with a team that was bold enough to take on a big real world challenge. And what was different about it is that when you see the fire in the early team, you really start to know that you're onto something big. Well, I got that feeling now. Richard, you were going over some of the stats, right? Today we have over 14,000 people in 212 different countries participating in this hackathon. And let's face it, all of us know that this is just the beginning. We're working on, again, one of the most revolutionary technologies of our generation. So I think it's really important for everyone here to hear that, or all of our developers and our community to hear that that your code is powerful, and what we do today as a community is shaping the future and transforming reality. So, engage with each other, share knowledge, collaborate, because the truth is that big things are built by teams, but revolutions are built by communities. So I'm excited that together we're going to be building a future that is much bigger than anything any of us can imagine.
Oh man, that's some inspiring words. Thank you. Yeah, that's good advice. Um, Speaking of building things, Kamal, it seems like it was just yesterday we were at SmartCon in Barcelona, and you were on stage announcing like tons of new products from Chainlink. What are you most excited to see out of this hackathon?
Thank you. Well, first, again, let me welcome you, Kirsch. We're incredibly excited to have you join the team. You've helped build some world transformative technologies and to global communities. And so we're really excited to have you help us bring the Chainlink community to new height. Yeah, so Richard, you're right. Barcelona was amazing. It was so great to see the community, all the builders, hear about what everyone is working on. And also, looking back, we had just so much to announce, so much to ship. And it was incredible to see people's reactions. And now we are starting this hackathon. And if last hackathon was our best ever, and I really hope this one is even better. And because this time, well, functions on mainnet, we have automation 2.0 with off-chain compute and log event trigger. And the big thing is CCIP. So there's a lot more to do, a lot more to invent. And I'm just really looking forward to see the use cases that people are going to uncover and all these new dimensions that we're going to be exposed to, because I agree with what Akash said. I think it's just so early, right? And the hackathons are traditionally the places where people surprise us with those new use cases that we didn't even think about, but that are enabled with those new powerful technologies and products.
Yeah, I agree. I think that our product stack has definitely increased to a point where like there are some use cases that probably aren't even coming to mind for us, and that's one of the exciting things about these hackathons, is seeing that and seeing what the developers come up with. Akirsh, from your past working with development communities, what do you think participating in a Chainlink hackathon can do for developers? Like, why is it important to participate?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is we're offering $500,000 in prizes. So if you're not already excited about that, you should be, and you should get very pumped up about it. But I think that there's a lot that we get out of hackathons, right? Kamal mentioned that we really get to see the absolute leading edge in thought, right? So what are all of you thinking about? Not always, and I think we said that. Look, it takes it takes a team. It really takes a village to do big things. And so, what we get out of this hackathon is an entire global community of people coming together to ideate and, under time pressure and constraints, really come up with something interesting. So, yeah, for all of you, this is really a chance to test your skills and speed in a real world setting. Connect with others and help form that community. And beyond that, I think that there's plenty of success stories where projects born out of one of our hackathons have gone on to become the next big things. I think Struct Finance's customizable DeFi products raised $3.9 million, right? The exchange Krypton raised 7. Postmint joined our build program, which I think developers here that are serious about taking what they're prototyping and evolving it into the next generation should look into. It's where we at Chainlink share some of our resources to help projects like yours grow. So really, I think this is an opportunity for us to innovate and an opportunity to innovate together, but also for us as Chainlink Labs to provide a platform for the entire community to be heard and have what they're working on be seen. So, yeah, that's some of what I think developers will get out of participating.
Yeah, it's definitely a opportunity for growth, learning, and building not just a project, right, but your own skill set. Um, Given the opportunity for creating these projects that like we haven't even thought of yet, and the prize categories, and trying to win the hackathon, right? Like that's the ultimate goal here. Kamal, what advice would you have for teams to make their projects stand out?
Sure. Well, so first, I think with these new products out there, right, with functions, with automation 2.0, with CCIP, there are just a lot of new things that weren't possible before. So I think there are all these opportunities to find those new dimensions of things that weren't possible. Maybe some ideas that were tried before but were just not possible to execute against that now are possible. Um, and combination of those primitives as well is another really powerful way to think about those new use cases, and match both the novelty and the value of the business case. Now there are obviously some important trends like cross chain. I mean, the world of chains has been isolated until now, right? So you had something great going on chain A, something great going on chain B, and you can combine them. And the new thing is with CCIP, now you can combine those things, right? So that as a mega trend, I think is here to stay. RWAs, tokenization, representing value on chain, representing identity on chain. I think those are also pretty big trends. AI, I'm not going to surprise anybody by coming up with by talking about AI. I think this is also a pretty big trend, and especially now with functions that you can make an API call to any powerful AI system out there. That's another really big trend. Now, again, those are trends, but in terms of specific advice, the first thing I would think about is really solve a real world problem, right? There's one approach which is let's start with the technology, and then like now you have a hammer, right, and you start to look for nails. But really start with the problem, and then realize that to solve this problem, you need a hammer or some other tool, right? So I would really start with the real world problem. It needs to stay simple, right? Because one other pattern is getting excited and having the scope grow, and then not being able to meet that scope, address it within the constraint of the hackathon. So really keep it very simple to the heart of the value of this idea. Remove everything else, and I think it's really clearly explain what your idea is, what stands out. So there's explaining, and then there's building. You got to really keep time for explaining and pitching and explain why this stands out and why this matters. And the last tip is really manage your time. Anybody who's done hackathon knows that there's this like ramp up excitement, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, only a few hours left, time to cut scope. Well, think about it at the beginning, keep it to the minimum, and then manage your time that way. But really, this is, as Kirsch mentioned before, this is your platform to show the world what you're capable of and get traction and visibility on a worldwide stage. I'm really proud that we're building a global community. We're sourcing ideas everywhere on the planet, and vice versa. You get to show your idea to everyone on the planet, and this is a formidable platform for you to share those ideas. And again, you don't know where you might end up. You might end up raising a lot of money and being a build partner. This is a real possibility. So as you're contemplating what to do with this hackathon, I would really consider that this is such an incredible opportunity. Obviously, there are the prizes. but you can bring your idea to fruition to the world. And the last thing is just get started. There's a quote I love, which is 90% of success is just showing up. Show up, right? Show up and show us what you got.
That's awesome. Yeah. And definitely showing up is a huge part of any success, right? If you're not there, you can't be successful. Uh, so, given that we've talked a lot about solving these technical problems, I did kind of key in on something you said, Kamal, about like solving real world problems. And I think, Kirsch, that kind of lends me to ask you this question. For those who are curious about this hackathon, want to participate, but aren't technical, how do you see a role for them in this hackathon? Like, how can they participate?
Yeah, and I think this ties back to my earlier message, right? Which is big things are built by teams and revolutions are built by communities. And the one thing we know about communities is that they are not full of like-minded, homogenous people. People bring different talents, people bring different strengths. So for those of you that are excited about the prospect of this technology, excited by the platform that this hackathon is providing, but do not have perhaps the technical skills to execute on some of these ideas, I think that there is still a ton of value that you can bring. First of all, this hackathon is a great way to meet with others that do have the skills that you are looking to fill. So think about forming a team. I think if you are non-technical, there are 5 things off the top of my head that I think would be extremely valuable that you could bring to the table. Is the first is idea generation. So you can propose challenges or ideas that need solutions. This is all about, as Kamal said, starting from a real world problem. So being able to bring inspiration for a project is incredibly important in those early stages. Project management. So the bigger your team is, the more tracking there needs to be done with timelines and deliverables. If we want to make sure that you're making the deadlines for this hackathon on time, that you're creating a product that is going to wow the judges, this is an absolute key requirement. A user experience design. That's number 3. So focusing on the design, the experience of the user flow. This is something that's extremely important. The usability of your project and making sure that it's accessible and understandable. Market research. So moving on to the pitch, when it comes time to share with the judges the value of what it is that you're creating, market research is going to be an important part of that pitch. Being able to craft a story based on the data, based on the trends. This is something that could help demonstrate the size of the need that your solution is addressing. And then finally, pitch. Right? I think that the pitch is a huge part of this. You spend several weeks working on this idea, building a prototype, but being able to communicate your idea clearly and effectively is going to make all of the difference in the world. I have seen plenty of hackathons where a well delivered pitch makes the most significant difference in how a project is perceived by the judging committee. So yeah, those are 5 things that you can work on just to, if you are non-technical. And just to summarize it, it's idea generation, project management, UX design, market research, and figuring out how to communicate your idea.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And yeah, I think hopefully for anyone who is non-technical, inspiration to find a team, join, help, contribute. And what better place to up your technical skills a little bit if that's something you're interested in than a hackathon, right? Like, but coming back to Kamal, something you said, I like that quote: 90% of success is showing up. What's the most important step in the hackathon?
Get started. Get started. Do something. If it stays in your head, it's not valuable, right? Do something. Talk to other people. To Kirsch's suggestion, form a team. It's this such an amazing feeling when you're working on something you're passionate about with other people who also want to make this thing successful. It's such a treat to be able to do something like that. So yeah, just start reaching out to people and ideate, find something you're interested in, and just do it. Get started. And like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? It's for me. I find it amazing that we live in a world where with an internet connection, a computer, you get to be able to do that on a global scale. Again, on a global scale, we really want to hear from everyone around the world. We're a global community. Is something that I personally care a lot about. So anywhere you're in the world, just get out there, participate. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And the best way to get started, if you haven't already, is to sign up. There's been some links in the chat where you can still sign up if you haven't. We can bump that number of signups up even a little bit higher, I guess. It's impressive how many of you have already signed up. So thank you for that so far. Kamal, Akersh, thank you so much for your time. I don't know, is there any closing words that you want to say before we move on?
Get hacking, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. And yeah, let's continue on talking about this hackathon. All right. So we've mentioned past hackathons, and they were pretty huge. This one, as Akersh mentioned, blows the other hackathons out of the water. We have even more signups, even more in prizes, right? We've got over 14,000 participants signed up. Like, that's a lot of people from 212 countries. About half of y'all are beginners to Web3, which I think is awesome because that means you're using this as an opportunity to learn. And what better place to learn than by doing something great? And then we do have 500,000 in prizes. Doing the math, that's like 500,000, right? That's massive. What can you expect from this hackathon? So not only are we looking for projects, but we also have workshops where you can learn things like how to use Hardhat, Foundry. Don't know what those are? We have a workshop for that. We have tips on the hackathon. We talk about full stack development. Web3 is just part of an entire application. We need some front end for that as well, often, so that users can use the application. We talk through how to use the newest products from Chainlink, CCIP, functions, data streams, including the old faithful ones like data feeds, automation, and VRF as well. You can learn about gaming, NFTs. If you're interested in maybe getting hired by Chainlink, we have a session about that. And we have some hacker stories as well. It wouldn't be fair to talk about launching this hackathon, kicking it off, without taking a moment to thank the speakers and the judges, because without them, the hackathon's not going to happen. So thank you to all of the speakers, all of the judges. Really, you're the only reason that we can have a hackathon. So thank you. So I saw in the chat there's some questions about prizes. Let's talk about those prizes. Breaking down the Chainlink prizes, we have a $25,000 grand prize, and then we kind of break it up into categories. We have first and second prizes for DeFi, cross-chain solutions, gaming and dynamic NFTs, SocialFi, Web3 and AI combined, and then tech for good. We also have 20 run-up prizes for top quality of $500. So those are the different prize categories that you can get. In order to be eligible for these prizes, and we'll talk about this more in a minute, you will need to use a Chainlink product to make an on-chain state change. So what are some possible things that you could build? This is by no means an extensive list. We do have more. I've seen it in the chat just a moment ago of ideas to kind of get those juices flowing in the old brain for what you could create. But you could create something like cross-chain DeFi, right, using CCIP, or cross-chain ENS. You could create an NFT gaming framework. You could use functions to reward users for listening to songs, maybe on Spotify. You could create some sort of decentralized wellness app, on-chain lending and borrowing using data streams, or maybe an AI-powered arbitrator, so something to help you make decisions between two parties on-chain. These are just some basic ideas to kind of get your ideas flowing in your head. But yeah, just some possibilities of things that you could create for this hackathon. There are two places that you'll need to register for this hackathon. So these two links are very important. The first is Constellation Hackathon on DevPost. There you'll register for DevPost. That's where you'll submit your project. You can check out more information about the prizes, sponsors, and rules there as well. But that is the key for submitting your project. And you also need to register on hack.chain.link. There you can see the schedules, announcements, and speaker details as well. So rules and eligibility, we do have some rules for this hackathon. You can find them on DevPost, and we are an inclusive community. So just to get it out there, any violence or discrimination is just not going to be tolerated. a little bit more about the rules. And I know this slide is dense. Submissions are going to be due on December 10th, and the deadline is 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's key. I know that this is a super global hackathon. Make sure you get your time zones correct if you're coming in at the last minute, coming in hot, because the deadline is the deadline. When you submit, you're going to need a 3 to 5 minute video introducing your project. This is the pitch that we were talking about earlier during the Q&A. We will need access to all of the source code for your project. It needs to be public, so you'll need to provide that link so that we can see what you're doing in your project. A description and a link to a working demo does help. We also need to make sure that you follow the rules for specific prizes. So different prize tracks have different rules. So you'll need to make sure that you're following those rules to be eligible for those prizes. Projects must use Chainlink technologies. So they need to make an on-chain state change based off of a Chainlink interaction. So that's something to keep in mind. Something in the blockchain has to change because you're using a Chainlink product. So you can use Chainlink functions, data feeds, VRF, keepers. The other thing to keep in mind here is, and I think that in a later session, talking about gearing up for the hackathon, Harry will talk about this a bit more, but I think that you'll have a better chance at winning if you use multiple products together to create something that's using them together kind of like symbiotically to create an even more powerful experience. And then finally, you must explain why you chose the chain that you worked on, why it was the best choice for your projects, and you have to also show us where you're using Chainlink in your code. So think about it this way. When it comes to the judges, you want to make their life as easy as possible so that they don't have to do work to figure out what your project is doing. It's kind of how I think about it when I submit projects to hackathons. I want to make the judges' life easy so they can focus on what I actually created. A few key dates to remember. The hackathon starts on November 8th. That's today. December 10th is when it closes. The submissions close at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then judging starts on the 11th. And then on December 20th, we will announce the winners. Another thing is, even if you don't feel like your project is fully polished, fully buttoned up, ready to go, submit your project. Like no matter what, submit your project. Like that one step will make it easier to submit it the next time. And it's how you learn. Like there's so many prizes, you may just find out that you won a prize with one of those top quality projects if you think that your project's not eligible for anything. You can build friendships. You build your own skills and your resume. You can get noticed. We saw some of the success stories earlier during this talk, and you can practice your skills. So there's no reason not to submit. If you find yourself needing help, support, have questions during this hackathon, which you probably will, need some sort of question answered at some point. We have our documentation at docs.chain.link. There you can find the getting help documentation. We also have some resources on DevPost. And then we have our Discord, our docs. We have some starter kits on GitHub. They're a fantastic tool, those starter kits, to get you started, hence the name starter kits. They basically get you a scaffold of a working project that you can then build off of. And then we have our hackathon resources on Stack Overflow. If you have a question about something Chainlink related, I would urge you to ask that question on Stack Overflow if at all possible. Discord is great for instant feedback, but Stack Overflow is far more searchable, and those questions that you have, probably someone else is going to have them. So getting those questions asked on Stack Overflow where they can be answered and then found by other people is a massive help, because Discord, while it's great, it's not the most searchable thing. Talking about team formation, I've seen in the chat some of you already talking about like, hey, I'm looking for a team. Hey, I have this skill set. I need some other people to join me. We do have a team formation session. You can find it on the schedule. So you'll need to create a avatar and join the Gather Space. You connect with other hackers there. One thing to remember, when you are forming a team, think about time zones, because we saw how many countries are participating in this hackathon, and time zones can be really rough. So kind of keep that in mind when you're forming teams. You can also share your ideas, build and collaborate together a little bit in the Gather space, and form those teams. All right, so let's talk about sponsors. So Chainlink is putting on this hackathon, but it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So Avalanche, Polygon, Steel Perlow, Tencent Cloud, QuickNode, ENS, The Graph, Cyberscope, Cypherin, CodeHawks. Man, there's so many. Consensus, Tangem, NGC Ventures, Postmint, Hypernative. That's a lot of sponsors. So thank you to all of our sponsors for making this hackathon possible and contributing some of their own prizes. Speaking of sponsors, we're going to take a moment here and hear some messages from our.
Hi there, my name is Megan Fitzgerald, and I'm a developer relations engineer at Avalabs. Of the source chain's finality. Fast finality on Avalanche will ensure your dApp is seamless for your users. In addition to fast finality, Avalanche is scalable, remaining highly performant with low transaction fees, even during times of high network.
Looks like maybe the sound went away when I took myself out of the picture. Is the sound back on the video now? Sorry for this, y'all. Technical difficulties. It's back. Okay, I'm just going to start this over.
Hi there, my name is Megan Fitzgerald, and I'm a developer relations engineer at Avalabs. Avalabs is the main developer of the Avalanche network. Avalanche is a network of networks, an open source platform for launching decentralized applications and enterprise blockchain deployments in one interoperable, highly scalable ecosystem. Why should you build on Avalanche during the Constellation hackathon? So I think it's simple. Avalanche consensus is the fastest consensus mechanism in the blockchain industry, hands down, as measured by time to finality. This makes Avalanche the best place to deploy cross-chain dApps planning to utilize Chainlink's Oracle networks and developer tooling. For example, the speed of execution of each cross-chain function implemented with Chainlink CCIP depends directly on the speed of the source chain's finality. Fast finality on Avalanche will ensure your dApp is seamless for your users. In addition to fast finality, Avalanche is scalable, remaining highly performant with low transaction fees, even during times of high network traffic. This ensures your application's users will not have their experience affected or worsened by other applications' traffic on the C chain. Hackers looking to deploy an app-specific blockchain can build their project on an Avalanche subnet to provide an isolated environment for application-specific chains. Build your project on Avalanche's C chain or a custom Avalanche subnet, and you will be eligible for up to 25K in bounties in addition to that of Chainlink's bounties. Some calls to action our community would like to see built include bringing Web2 APIs into the Avalanche C chain with Chainlink functions. Be the first SocialFi app on Avalanche with decentralized identity-enabled single sign-on using Chainlink oracles. You could create a C-chain dApp that uses Chainlink functions to call generative art APIs such as Stable Diffusion or DALL-E to mint unique NFTs in one user-friendly front end. Or make a Web3 game or DeFi application that utilizes Chainlink's CCIP for cross-chain functionality. To get started, visit academy.avox.network for a guided learning experience, or head straight to docs.avox.network to view pointed tutorials and tooling reference information. Make sure to join our Telegram link to have direct communication with our mentors and judges throughout the hackathon. Good luck and happy hacking!
All right, so that was a little bit more information about Avalanche, what they're looking for. Let's hear from our next sponsor.
Hello, everyone. GM, GA, or GE from Hong Kong. This is Preston from Tencent Cloud, lead international strategy and Web3 related initiatives. My pleasure to speak to all of you today. Tencent is one of the world's largest technology companies and number one in gaming. As the cloud arm of Tencent, Tencent Cloud is the global provider with 26 regions and 70 availability zones. We're proud to support some of the world's largest cloud-native applications. Leveraging our gaming and entertainment expertise in Web2, we also aim to support Web3 builders globally, from infrastructure to platform to dApps. This time, we're very honored to have the opportunity to be the exclusive cloud sponsor for Chainlink's fall Constellation, offering up to $250K Tencent Cloud credits, including 10K credits each to the top 20 winning teams, and 500 each to the participating hackers. With this, every hacker will have access to our various cloud products, basic infrastructure products such as compute or network, to gaming and metaverse-specific SDKs, so allow you to spin up your applications quickly, to also our brand new cloud blockchain RPT service. Furthermore, the winners will also have opportunity to interact with Tencent's comprehensive ecosystem and network in the gaming, social media, fintech, and other domains. Make sure to sign up at our dedicated page, claim your credits. I also encourage all of you to join our Telegram channel, where we provide dedicated technical and logistics support to all. We look forward to seeing your great project. Good luck and enjoy hacking.
All right, so that was Tencent Cloud. And next we have Steel Perlow.
Hey everyone, my name is Eli Reinhardt. I'm a partner at Steel Perlow. I've been in the crypto space for over 6 years, and we're really excited to be partnering with Chainlink for this Constellation hackathon. We're sponsoring 3 prizes, and the key focus that we're going to be looking for, seeing as I'm a venture investor, we look for projects that can demonstrate real revenue potential. That will be the main judging criteria that we will be looking for when we see submissions for our prizes. We'll be doing 3 prizes for $5,000 each. We may split up those prizes depending on submissions. Quickly, they will be broken up into, one will be a TikTok automation and generative content tool for advertising. The second will be a crypto price forecasting tool. And the third will be a prompt agents marketplace with crypto payments. Thank you, everyone. Hey, everyone.
And then we'll hear from ENS.
Hi, my name is Makoto, and I'm a developer at Ethereum Name Service. ENS provides a human-readable name to crypto wallet addresses. Hopefully, you have seen .eth names while you're interacting with dApps and wallets, and you may also have your own ENS name. ENS and Chainlink have a long history of collaboration. Our ENS site uses Chainlink Price Oracle to register .eth names, and Chainlink has data.eth ENS name to label price pairs as subnames. More recently, we have been collaborating to build cross-chain query framework called CCIP Read, which is going to empower our cross-chain name resolution. We are excited to join the Chainlink Hackathon as a sponsor with the largest prizes we have put in hackathons. And I'm going to give an ENS workshop at Chainlink London Meetup, where I present some new products. We are looking forward to seeing creative, innovative submission utilizing Chainlink and ENS. Happy hacking!
All right, one more video.
Hello everyone, I'm Thanos Tsavlis, co-founder and CEO at Cyberscope. Cyberscope is a leading blockchain security firm and the proud sponsor of the Constellation Hackathon. We specialize in smart contract audits and have developed a portfolio of over 1,600 audited clients. You can find us working with launchpads, incubation programs, sponsoring hackathons and builder events, and our security tools are integrated into major platforms like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. As a way of supporting innovation, we're contributing over $20,000 in audit credits to the prize pool, and we can't wait to secure some of the most innovative projects out there. Lastly, I'm thrilled to be joining the judging team, and I'm very excited to see all these amazing projects come to life. Thank you all for being part of the Constellation Hackathon. Together, we will shape the future of blockchain.
All right, so that was a word from some of our sponsors. Taking a look at the prizes that the sponsors are offering. We'll start with Polygon. So in addition to the Chainlink prizes, we have prizes from some of our sponsors as well. Polygon has a few different criteria here. First is best use of their ZK EVM. That's a $15,000 prize. A ZK EVM DeFi challenge, use of their bridge for ZK EVM, and then a best use of Polygon's ID verifiable credentials to preserve user privacy. So some different tracks that you can have for Polygon's prize pool. Avalanche as well has some prizes. Remember, they are looking to have you use the Avalanche network in your dApp, and they have different prize levels as well. They have first, second, and third prize, and then some honorable mentions. They would like to make everyone aware of their developers kit that has everything that you need to get started at bento.me/avalanche developers. Tencent Cloud, I've seen in the chat, there's a link to all the data about this, is giving out some credits to participants, as well as more credits to top winning projects from the hackathon. So you can get those credits from Tencent there. More information at the link that was provided in the chat just a moment ago, or at the link on the screen. And then Steel Polo is giving out 3 prizes for first, second, and third place, looking for specific things, as they mentioned in their video and as are mentioned here in their descriptions. Looking for TikTok advertisement, looking for one that uses functions and AI, and then looking at AI agents as well. And ENS is giving away 15,000 in prizes, and keep an eye on the dev post site for more information about the specifics of those prizes. Additionally, the Graph has prizes as well. So the Graph will give out prizes for the best new subgraph that is created or substream, and then best use of a subgraph or substream as well. So they have first, second, and third prizes there for using the Graph. Cyberscope is giving out 25,000 in audit credits. So I don't know if y'all are catching on, but like, man, there's a lot of prizes. This is amazing. QuickNode is giving everyone who's participating a 3-month membership to their service. So you can find out how to sign up for that in DevPost, and that information as well. So even if you don't win an actual prize, everyone gets this from QuickNode, which is pretty awesome. And then Tangent AG will be offering 10 hardware wallets. Those will be selected randomly for participants in the hackathon. And if you would like to see all of the prizes, I went too fast, you want to learn more about them, you can find the full breakdown at constellationhackathon.devpost.com. All the rules will be there, all the prizes will be there. Basically, any information you need will be on DevPost. So if you haven't already, I'll say it again, make sure you register. And don't forget, you need to register at hack.chain.link and also on DevPost. You need to register in both places. The second thing is make sure you submit your project and make sure you pay attention to that deadline so you have your project submitted in time. And finally, thank you for being here and thank you for signing up for the hackathon, right? Like there's no hackathon without you all. So thank you. And yeah, let's start building.